What if I were to tell you that people are not as smart as you think? Would you believe me? Would you believe me if I told you that most people just figure things out as they go and don't have the silver bullet? They don't have the crystal ball, and they don't have all the answers to the solutions that they put themselves in front of. A lot of people assume that those who are smart just know stuff. It's like, oh, you're smart at math. Yeah, you were born this way. Your brain just understands it. Mine doesn't. But chances are they don't know what they're doing. They just figured it out as they went. And this can apply in so many different aspects of your life. The way that I think about this, for example, is podcasting. I didn't know anything about podcasting when I was starting. And as I'm sitting down in this chair right now is the 99th episode, guys. We're one episode off of 100, and I've had 99 reps of doing the thing. I didn't know what I was doing to begin with. You can even ask my friends. I had the dumbest setups in the world. And I'm not saying this is much better, but I'm saying that it's definitely improved over time and I've started to understand how things work more. But that's only because once you're in the situation to where you have to learn, you're going to learn. It's hard for you to know everything about podcasting when you're not even, starting a podcast. The fact that people think that you have to know what you're doing and know everything before you hop into something is a little silly to me, but I don't blame them. I think a lot of times in society, we're told to like assess the situation, right? We need to know what you're getting yourself into. And I can understand this from like a risk management point of view, right? It's like, hey, you don't want to get us in trouble. You don't want to risk the company. You don't want to risk the people. So when you're getting yourself into something, you have to be highly analytical of what you're doing and know everything about it before you get into it. But chances are you're not doing this from a risk management point of view. You're doing this as a procrastination because you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to begin. But let me tell you something. When you start doing the thing, the answers figure themselves out as you go. Gary Schoniger, one of my guests, who's been on the show 2 times, absolutely amazing episodes. You guys need to check them out. He mentioned something that I thought was amazing. He said a lot of people think that they need to know before they go, but you need to go in order to know. So what he was getting at, and something that I want to put into your guys' mind, is a lot of times people think that you need to know everything, and I'm going to use podcasting as an example. It's like, hey, you need to know how to set up your camera, you need to know how to have your microphone, you need to know how to do this, how to do that, and then you can start the podcast. But for me, I didn't know anything. And then once I was actually in the position to start recording myself, like I have my camera right in front of me, right? Then I started thinking to myself, okay, where's a good place to put lighting? It's not like I knew before. It's not like I was like, hey, okay, what's just gonna happen? I'm gonna put the camera right in front of me, and I'm gonna have lighting 45 degrees, and then it's gonna be 90 degrees this way, and then it's gonna be 115 degrees this way, and it's gonna be the perfect light. It's gonna hit, and oh my god, like here's what I'm gonna do with my voice. I'm gonna tone it down. It's gonna sound like this, and I'm gonna add all of these effects. No, it's not how it works. The thing that happens to me over and over in life, and that has happened again in this pursuit of podcasting, is the fact that I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where to put my lighting. I didn't know where to put my camera. But here's what happened. I put my camera in front of me and I wasn't sure about lighting. So I tried some things, right? And I was creative with it. And I was like, okay, maybe this is going to work. And then I saw myself on camera and I was like, wow, this looks horrible. I hate this so much. So naturally, what I did is I wanted to improve. So I looked up a video on lighting. And the next video, I might have put the lighting a different way to which it actually works. I think a lot of the pursuits in life have to do with these constant like skill improvements little by little. Like you build off of the thing. But something important to remember is you need to make sure that when you have these small improvements, you don't go back. So you don't want to have this lighting issue 5 episodes in a row, and then you fix it on the sixth, and then the seventh, the issue's there again, right? You want to try to fix these things so that way you can over time slowly build this empire of like little wins, if that makes sense. So, okay, you fix the lighting, and now it's consistent. You know about lighting, and now, okay, maybe the voice editing isn't the best, so you fix the voice editing, and now from now on out, the voice editing has gotten a lot better, and then you don't go back either. So it's about constantly improving and building upon things and making sure that you don't go back to how it was before. Fix those wins and iterate them and make sure they're actually implemented. I think that's a big thing. But back to this idea about, knowing before you go, a lot of people just wish they knew everything. And that was me too. I remember with one of my mentors, Anthony Miney, one of the first days I met him, he was like, listen, dude, like he stopped me in the middle of the sentence. He says, listen, you are somebody who wants the crystal ball, and I totally understand it, but you need to understand that that's not how life works. And you're not going to have everything in front of you to make the decisions. You have to make the decisions and then pivot as you go. And I was like, yeah, that is something I do. And even, when I fight, I notice my coach says the same thing. He's like, you always want all the answers, but the answers come through places you can't imagine, right? It's like, remember when I was training for my first fight, I was like, "Hey, coach, what about this? And what about this?" And I was just, oh my God, it was like the smallest things I was asking him questions on. I was probably pissing him off. I love my coach though. Um, but yeah, he's like, dude, relax. You're gonna be okay. And these little things, they don't matter. I mean, I remember asking him like, "Hey, like when I make my walk out, is there a certain time that I like? Can I walk for longer than this? Can I walk for shorter than this?" And he's like, "Dude, who like?" He's probably like, "Who the hell asked this question, right?" But I want to get at the point that I used to be this way, guys. Like, and in a way, I am still this way. But knowing this information helps me kind of trick my mind. So when you're ever in a situation to where you feel like you don't have all the resources, you don't have all the experiences to jump in, I feel like that's exactly when you should jump in. And I say I feel because we're all free human beings, right? You can do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me. But chances are if you clicked on this video and you're watching, you're somebody who wants to improve themselves. And I that's what I'm here for. I really hope that that happens to you guys. And I think the best ways for it to happen is learning off of other people's lessons, and I'm a good person to learn off of. I've had these constant reminders that listen, dude, you're thinking about it too much. You're not going to know everything right away. It's like it's impossible. You have to understand it as you go. And then I also think over time it becomes more familiar as well. So the first time you're podcasting, you're not going to know what's going on, right? But then on the 100th episode, you're like, okay, dude, like this is just routine behavior. I understand this is easy for me now. I know I'm just a kid. I know I'm just talking about this, and you guys are like, who are you? Whatever. I understand. But I've interviewed a lot of people who have done very well for themselves. And even on my episode about the lessons that I've learned from interviewing, top entrepreneurs, authors, just people that are very successful, athletes, UFC fighters, this is a big lesson I took away. Like they're always talking about the fact that, listen, I didn't know everything when I started, but now as time went on, I've learned so much more. And you have to like throw yourself into the fire. You have to put yourself not Anthony Miney, what Gary Shoniger on my show says, you have to put yourself into the arena, right? You have to actually do the thing. It's not like you're not observing, you're not thinking about it. You're actually in there, you're putting the reps in and you're doing it. And chances are it's going to play out a lot different than you expect. And I would be willing to bet that because what you would have thought you should have researched before, maybe it was a bad idea to begin with. I want this to be a good opportunity for you guys to be able to take away the lessons that you learn from people and actually apply it to your life, right? Like I said, I interviewed a lot of people, and even myself, I think about my experiences all the time. I think about it a lot, and I think that it's very important for you guys to understand that this is something that's unavoidable, and you want to be able to escape this mental trap of, hey, I need to be experienced enough to do this. And I think that the reason this is because we're taught this way. We are taught that, listen, like, you want to know if you're going to study for a test, you want to know everything on it before it happens, right? If you want to do this, then you have to make sure you know X or you know Y, whatever. And it makes complete sense, right? You don't want, I'm not telling you guys to go into a test and figure it out as you go. I'm saying you guys got to know it. But when it comes to other like real life applications, I really feel like you need to figure it out as you go because it's different than a test, right? A test is like, listen, you should already know this stuff. That's the thing about a test, right? So it's like this isn't stuff you should already know. If you're starting a business, you're not going to know everything, and you're not going to, reading the books is going to be good, but making the business is going to give you more experiences than reading the book ever will. And I will say I think it's important to have some like a little bit of information just to have to build off of. Like it's not like you want to build a business without knowing anything in the world, but it's like know how to start your LLC, know how to run a couple things, so that way when you're in the situation, you'll know about it. However, you're not going to know how to build a multi-billion-dollar company from the start, right? You figure it out as you go. And, you know, I mean, just guys, think about the most successful people, like businessmen, athletes. Like, these are things they've obviously dealt with. Like, we're all humans. And something that I think of a lot is, like, if somebody can do it, why can't I? And I rest be assured that, listen, maybe that guy over there in the corner, he knew everything before he started, right? Okay. But then there's the other majority of people that are very successful that had no clue what they were doing when they were figuring it out. And we all know somebody that's just not, I mean this in a nice way, but somebody that might be a little bit like dumber than you or not on your level, but they're doing better than you in life. Maybe they know how to make money. Maybe they're just really good with people. And you're like, how in the world is this person so good at this thing, right? Chances are they're born with it, right? Like they don't appreciate what it's like to really have the other side of the coin. It's like, hey, listen, you have a lot of friends. Well, you don't really know what it's like to have no friends because the person that has no friends and then can build himself up to having a lot of friends, learned a lot of skills that way. But the people that are born with it don't. So if you're comparing yourself to like top people, just know that they're struggling with the same exact things as you. And if they can figure it out as they go and figure it out for themselves, why can't you? Right, guys? Why can't you? That's a frame that I really think about. And oh my God, I mean, I was listening to Joe Rogan and Ilya Taporia. He said something that I thought was amazing. I might even make an episode on this as a mindset shift because I was like, wow. So the first part of it is a way that I think, but the second part I think is genius. So the first part of it, he said, he said to himself, or he said to Joe Rogan, he said, Ilya Taporia is a UFC fighter, just so you guys know. Ilya said, I always think to myself that if other people can do it, why can't I? Which is something that I actually think a lot as well. But then the second part shocked me. I never even thought about this. And then he said, and then I realized that if nobody else has done it, then I can just be the first. And I was like, wow, that is so good. So, guys, I want you to have the same mindset. And if you need help developing it, I got 98 episodes for you guys. Okay. You want to be the person that looks at themselves in the mirror, looks at other people, and say, wow, he can do it. Why can't I? I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I remember when I was in high school and I would watch I mean, I would never go to games. I'd never go to like football games or anything. First of all, I felt like I didn't fit in, to be honest. But other than that, like this is gonna sound crazy, but I felt like I didn't want to be the person watching. I didn't like watching other people and other people getting all the attention. And I'm not somebody who's like, oh, attention, attention. I need attention. Like, I'm not talking about attention like, please validate me, please look at me. But I'm talking about like, they've done the hard thing. They've put in all their training. These football players work so hard, and now they get to put it all out in front of so many people. And I thought that was so cool. I admired it, but I was jealous that that wasn't me. And even looking back on it now, I think like fighting is so similar to me that I'm the person, like I'm the only one in the cage. And it's not like it's not about 11 guys in the field anymore. It's not like football. It's like it's just me and another person. All the attention's on me and all the work that I put in has put me into the place that I'm at, right? Everybody else is watching me. They're watching all the work that I've put in. Like to me that sounds so crazy. It's like they're just watching. They spent money to watch not necessarily me, but you know, their friends, whatever, but I'm there and they're watching me and I've spent 3 months training so hard, eating clean, doing all the best stuff I can in order to get myself in this position and they have no idea what it's like to work this hard. Yeah, guys, be assured that the people you look up to don't know what they're doing as they figure it out. And if you really think they do, look into them more, look into their background. It's funny because a lot of people start off very poor. And you know, I remember thinking to myself, like, how do those people become so successful? And I realized it's because they're so much more useful with the resources they have. You know, I've run Facebook ads to like different things and different, you know, groups, businesses, whatever. But something that I think about is I'm not good at it. Like I'm not. This is for myself, so don't worry, guys. I'm losing myself a lot of money, not anybody else. But I thought to myself, I'm like, listen, I'm bad spending a $10 budget a day. But imagine I spend $100,000 budget a day. I'd still be terrible. So it's like money doesn't change anything in that circumstance. And in fact, I think the fact that, you know, having less money, having less resources makes me more resourceful and makes it easier in a way for me to make the thing work. Like I might not have access to all these amazing people that might help me out. It's not like my dad is like, "Hey, listen, I actually know the CEO of Facebook, so let me talk to him and he can reach out with some like all the best tips." And I'm like, "I don't know that stuff." But what I do know is I'm using what I got. And that's the only thing that you can ask for, you know? If you're in a situation that you're you don't have very much, you have to use what you got, man, because even for my podcast starting out, I didn't have much. And I think it's important because it teaches you how to be resourceful. I mean, I have pictures where I had like a pop filter for my podcast, and it was attached to this gallon of water handle. Like you just the solutions figured themselves out as you go. And guess what? If you were to look up a video on how to put up a pop filter, and it's like, oh wait, I can't do this. I can't put the mic like this, so this isn't gonna work. But for me, I said, okay, I'm gonna make it work, and it doesn't matter. So put it in my backpack, put the microphone in my backpack, went to the library in my school, and then set it up and I was like, dude, I have nowhere to attach my pop filter. And instead of being like, dude, I gotta go home now, I'm like, okay, what can I do? I couldn't attach it to the table, it was too thick, but I could attach it to the gallon water. So that's what I did. And that's how it is, guys. Like there have been times in your life I bet that you figured things out that you were like, oh wow, that was a pretty easy solution. Like you don't there's no silver bullet. It's not like you need to attach the microphone right here and you need the pop filter right here. No, like there's caveats to everything. All right. Guys, solutions figure themselves out as you go. You need to go in order to know. You need to do the thing in order to know the information about it. I love you guys so much. Episode 99, episode 100 next week. I can't wait. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.